Good morning everyone, MMDA back on the road. They're just doing their coordination with the barangay and then they'll start their operation. They've already started apprehending people without helmets. There are so many in this area. So actually they're not issuing tickets for no helmet because apparently this barangay have a local ordinance which says not to wear a helmet. Surely that runs counter to the national law, RA 154, which says you must wear your helmet. Look at that, 4 people on a motorcycle. I'm pretty sure there's no barangay ordinance that allows that. So they're now issuing tickets to these 2 vehicles parked on the sidewalk here. And they're issuing tickets to these 2 vehicles parked here. According to the barangay, there's no parking both sides. And further down the road, they're issuing tickets to these vehicles. Actually, the tow truck itself is being ticketed for illegal parking, as well as the jeepneys behind. And the team are now looking at this one here. You can see there's no way for pedestrians to pass on the sidewalk anymore. So what the team are planning to do is remove the shelf that extends out, but they'll let the owner self-demolish the posts. Because if they remove those today, it's going to cause structural problems with the rest of the property. So bring down the shelf and let the owners relocate the posts. So for this one over here, they put a hole in the wall to let the owners know it has to be removed. But again, they left the posts because if they remove them, the whole roof could collapse. So they put a hole there and told the owners self-demolish, push everything back so that the sidewalk is open. And further along the street, the team have been working on bringing this down. According to the barangay, it shouldn't be here. So according to the barangay, there should be a minimum of 1.5 meters sidewalk here. But according to the property owner, their gate has been here since 1990 and they believe this is their own private property and that they haven't extended over the sidewalk. So now they've damaged both of the posts. They can tie a rope to the top and then pull it down as if they were felling a tree. The thing is, even with that gate removed, they still have to wait for all of these properties to push back their walls before the sidewalk really... This gentleman here asked if his property could be spared from clearing and if he can be allowed more time to self-demolish. And they said, well, it's already been months since the president gave the order, and actually this should have been done years ago. I'm really curious, what is it? You're not allowed to wear a helmet, or you are allowed to wear a helmet? Doesn't make sense to me. And they're stopping this gentleman now riding with slippers. The problem they have is if they come across anyone without a driver's license, they won't be able to impound the bike because still no tow trucks. Over here, the team are removing this extended roof as requested by the barangay captain. There were some other properties further down the road that they wanted to clear, but the owner said, hey, can we have one more day? What that really means is, hey, please don't do it today and never come back. There's some self-demolition going on further down the road. A little breeze block, hollow block wall. And over here they're issuing a ticket to this gentleman for driving in slippers. They're not ticketing anyone for no helmet because of the alleged barangay ordinance. And one more ticket being issued over here to this motorcycle rider driving in slippers. And over here they issued one more ticket for driving in slippers on a motorcycle. And they just stopped this gentleman here driving in slippers. And one more rider here being ticketed for driving in slippers. This one will be driving in slippers and excess rider because there's 3 people on the motorcycle. Said she's been ticketed already, so she should bring the children down and not take them on the motorbike. So they just stopped this one here. There's 2 problems. 1, the driver's wearing slippers, and 2, there's a little boy standing on the front, which isn't actually allowed. So they stopped this older gentleman driving in slippers, and he said, no, I'm the service for the barangay chairman. And then they said, sorry, but the same rules apply to everyone. Can we see your license? He said, I don't have a license because I only stay within the barangay. So I don't know what they're going to do because they don't have tow trucks, there's no impounding, the MMDA impound lot is still full. So they can't impound the bike even if they know he doesn't have a license. So a barangay traffic enforcer just arrived now and said, hey, turn it over to the barangay and we'll hold on to it. Well, if he's a service driver for the barangay, of course they're just going to give it back to him. This gentleman over here is saying the team should have given him consideration because it's the first time he's been caught. But how would the team know how many times he's been caught in the past? And if he says that every time it's my first time and then they let him go, he will never have any tickets under his name. They also stopped this gentleman driving in slippers, and he said he doesn't have a license either. And further down the street here, there's one gentleman doing self-demolition. Of course, in an ideal world, they would do this before rather than waiting for the MMDA to go here and ask them. And they just stopped this gentleman here driving in slippers. Unfortunately, this driver also said he doesn't have a license, plus the registration expired many years ago. And they stopped one more gentleman over here driving in slippers, and a little boy sitting on the front of the bike. Children should be on the back of the bike, and their feet must reach the foot pegs and their arms able to go around the waist of the driver. Over here the team are working on bringing this one down, obstructing the sidewalk. And over here they stopped this motorcycle. There were 3 people, so that's excess passenger plus the driving in slippers. And they're stopping this motorcycle here. They've got a little boy on the front, excess passenger. And one more driver stopped over here. I'm not sure what the ID was that he showed, but they're asking for his license. Driving in slippers. No license? Oh my goodness, no driver's license. One more driver stopped over here for driving in slippers, and the team just called for the enforcers to come in and provide support because there's only a few guys that are actually issuing tickets. So they're also breaking these little humps that people build on the sidewalk to protect their pipe. I assume they're also going to remove the pipe itself since it's a hazard, it's a block on the sidewalk. And one more motorcycle rider stopped here. She is wearing a helmet, but unfortunately driving in slippers. Unfortunately the driver doesn't have a license. And further along the team are bringing down a wall that's built over the sidewalk. And over here they stopped one more gentleman driving in slippers. The driver was able to show registration but not a license, but he said he does have one, so he's calling now for someone to bring the license. And that's much better because then the MMDA can issue a ticket compared to those other people who don't have a license and they can't do anything. And over here the sidewalk clearing team are bringing down this little wall, but I don't know what they're going to do when they get this far. I guess they'll have to leave the steps for a self-demolition. And they just stopped this gentleman here. He said he works for the barangay. Unfortunately, expired driver's license. Actually, he can't show anything, but that's what he says. He has an expired license. And of course, the registration on the bike is expired also. And they just stopped this bike here. There's an excess passenger, 2 children on the back. And over here, they stopped one more gentleman driving in slippers. And over here, one more ticket being issued to this driver for wearing slippers.